It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans, Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
It's Ann Kirkpatrick. It's State Troop N. It's proactive policing. It's New Orleans' own Dragnet. Drew Brees, please. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at ya. Thanks so much for joining us on this wide open Wednesday edition of the program. As the DJs, the disc jockeys would say, it's hump day. Already halfway through the week, kind of crazy. The work week definitely goes by quicker than the weekend, thank God. At least that's how I think it works. I don't know, for some folks, maybe it's the other way around. Corey, are you crazy? The weekend, those 2 days, those 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, they blow by compared to 2 days and 3 weekday nights. I don't know. I think it's the opposite. And it's kind of always been that way. Weekdays just seem to go a little bit quicker than the nice, slow, lazy weekend. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, we're about halfway home, huh? A little after 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. Hopefully this rain is out of here by the weekend, huh? Just ridiculous. We've just had kind of this sort of great Northwest, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver type weather lately. Just like continuous rain, overcast, constant drizzle, mist, 100% humidity thing, and then sometimes like a downpour. More like New Orleans, not like the Great Northwest, but a lot of rain for the last few days on and off, and a lot more on than off. Boy, last night, how many inches dropped in about a 45-minute period? Like, seriously, like about 2 inches of rain in about 45 minutes around 7 p.m. last night, yesterday evening, late afternoon, whatever you want to call it when it's July in New Orleans. I like this getting dark after 8:30. The days are shrinking now as we beeline towards October. I guess that solstice thing, that gimmick on the 20th or 21st of June, that's the longest day of the year. That's like we peaked out. Now it's going the other way. They're slowly getting shorter, but we're just a few weeks past that. So these are still some of the longest days of the year. I like that daylight till after 8 p.m. Seemed like when I was a kid, we had daylight till like 8:30, 8:40, and it doesn't seem like that's the case anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's the same exact thing. Who knows? Anyway, the weekend does appear to be, we might get a reprieve from the rain. Might be a let-off, hopefully. Hey, coming up in a few minutes, New Orleans attorney Joe Responti is going to join us. He's on Fox 8 every Tuesday morning. And yesterday he was on talking about the juvenile justice system. And to Joe Responti, who's on top of this stuff, this is like clearly the number one mover. Like everything that's wrong with juvenile justice in Metro New Orleans, even statewide, it's because of this. This Fox 8 story said 4,000 not just outstanding warrants, like there are 4,000 criminals out there on the street that have an arrest warrant. I remember when I was younger, I'd be like, man, if I don't get to traffic court, my license could be, suspended. Better get to arrest warrant? I mean, like, get pulled over, you get arrested? Oh, we have a warrant out for your arrest, sir. It's not just 4,000 outstanding warrants. This is mind-blowing. This will like buckle your legs. So if you're standing, you might want to sit down. It's 4,000 outstanding juvenile warrants. Juvenile warrants. 17 years old and younger. 4,000 of them in New Orleans. Seriously, of the 4,000 that are out there, these juvenile warrants, how many of these kids are living at home with mom and dad? And mom and dad maybe know that their kid has a warrant out for their arrest. And they just kind of keep on doing what they're doing. And hopefully this will pass. Wow. Responsible living. Unbelievable. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. Yeah, the Fox 8 report is something to watch. I reposted it on my Twitter, at Corey Johnson on Twitter. Joe Responti's in that piece. Like I said, he joins Fox 8 every Tuesday morning live. And then, every now and then, it's probably a few times a month, they pull him aside for some report like this to get his opinion. But he says everything that's wrong with the juvenile justice system, he talks about these judges, the State Office of Juvenile Justice, these judges. I don't get this mindset. I really don't. I'm kind of lost on this. I don't understand the sympathy, this sort of, I don't know. It seems like there'd just be blind justice. Like it's obviously juveniles. That's you're a juvenile judge. That's a given. You're supposed to have empathy and understanding and sympathy, and it's a juvenile, not an adult. We get all of that. But just this, the hyper woke problem with the judges and magistrates in New Orleans in general, low bail bond, letting these jokers, these violent criminals get out. 20 strikes and you're still not out. Like insane. Like we owe it to the black community, or we got to give them another chance. I don't know what the mentality or thinking is. I know it's like hyper woke. I know it's loony liberal. I know it's almost criminal behavior. I know it contributes to the violent crime problem. I know these judges and magistrates need to be kind of grabbed by the shoulders, give them a good shaking. It's insane. Wake up, people. Adjust. Come on. No, these judges are a nightmare, generally speaking. The juvenile judges, even worse. Like letting these jokers out and then they're immediately committing violent crime. Just crazy. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Don't move. Coming right back. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Hey, you Baton Rouge folks, Helm Paint and Supply now in Baton Rouge. That's right. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans for over 55 years. New Orleanians that really know when it's time to paint. We don't go to the big box store, some national chain. Why would you do that? You go to Helm Paint and Decorating, the experts. They got the price points you want. They've got better quality paint, more coverage per gallon with Benjamin Moore. Google it. They've got every single different level of paint you need, from the most basic to like Regal Select that I used on my house, or Aura, which has a lifetime warranty, meaning you'll never, ever paint your house again. Amazing. And for pennies on the dollar compared to these so-called coatings. You know what the coatings are? An elastomeric paint. They've got that at Helm. It's a rubberized paint that in about 98, 99% of home applications, totally unnecessary, and it's more expensive. That's what those so-called coating companies are. The world's most expensive home painting company. You don't need that. All you need is Helm, the painting experts that truly will steer you in the right direction. And Baton Rouge, there are now 4 Helm Paint and Decorating locations. Yeah, you're right. Taking care of you in the capital city over there on Highland Road, Perkins Road, Choctaw, Jones Creek. Free 2-hour delivery, West Baton Rouge, over in East Baton Rouge, Prairieville, even Gonzales. That's right, Gonzales. You're like, we're 20 minutes from BR. Helm Paint and Decorating, free 2-hour delivery to Gonzales out of their 4 Baton Rouge locations. Yeah, tough to beat Helm Paint and Decorating now in Baton Rouge. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. New Orleans attorney Joe Responti is on Fox 8 every Tuesday morning. And then they utilize him, and when they're doing stories during the week, you'll see him prime time in the middle of some story like this juvenile justice story from yesterday. New Orleans attorney Joe Responti joins us again on the program. What's up, Joe?
The corners of my mouth. How are you doing, Corey?
Doing well, man. Good to have you on again, as always.
Ready to go. Ready to go. What you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, if I had a headline that said there are 4,000 outstanding warrants for criminals in New Orleans, that would be an insane headline. But the fact that it's 4,000 outstanding juvenile warrants, like 17 years old and under, 4,000 Orleans Parish juveniles have a warrant out for their arrest. Is that correct?
That's what we hear, and I'm just telling everybody, why are you so surprised? I've been screaming from the rooftops. It looks like now I got more company on the rooftop where everybody's screaming about the juvenile justice system in New Orleans. But I've been telling you guys,
if
you had to look at one place and one place only to do something about crime in New Orleans, go to the juvenile courthouse and see what's going on there.
No.
But guess what? You can't see because it's cloaked in secrecy.
Yeah, no, you've been on this show, on your Fox 8 reports for the last few years. You're like, that's the number one needle mover, you know, if you really want to make a difference with one thing. Yeah, Ann Kirkpatrick, the NOPD superintendent, said there are 4,000 plus outstanding juvenile warrants. I mean, a lot of these parents out there have to know this. I just don't get it, Joe. I really don't. Yeah, and yes, I am surprised at 4,000, yes.
Sure. I mean, you know, there are warrants and there are warrants, as someone said. I mean, when a murderer escapes, Angola, there's a warrant for his arrest, and when somebody misses a traffic court summons date, there's a warrant for your arrest theoretically. So there are different types of warrants, but I can tell you that plenty of those 4,000 warrants are for kids like this kid who has a serious charge that he pled to or whatever, and that they're supposed to be at a certain place at a certain time to do a certain thing, and they're just not doing it. And that's the whole point. There is never consequences. And if you raise children, children need consequences. There's never consequences for these young people. But the worst part is we can't know about it as the public. We can't know who the judges are that keep letting them out and keep not having consequences for their bad acts.
What do you mean? What do you mean we don't know who the judges are?
That's going to start changing. Let's hope.
What do you mean we don't know who the judges are?
Oh, we know. No, we don't know. We don't know if Judge A is the one who keeps letting out everybody. We know a little bit now. Okay. I've been saying,
Candace Bates Anderson, right?
Right, and she's had a couple of those, but she's not the only one. Okay, but the answer is, well, we don't have any place to put them. That is something that is BS, because they have not had the political will in this city, because there was a 75-bed place that was all scheduled to be built and done, and it just went away. There's beds in OPP. You can make a tier for juveniles. They don't have to interact with the adult inmates. There are places you can do this. But more importantly, you don't even need to know the names of these kids, Corey. I got an idea. Give every kid a number. And if number 793 has got 5 carjacking convictions and he's still being let out on probation by Judge A or Judge X, you can say, Judge, why are you letting out number 793? Why are you doing that? And let them be accountable for the actions of these people, because they're going to come back and run for judge again and say, please vote for me. I've done such a good job in securing the safety of you citizens of New Orleans. And they're not.
We're visiting with New Orleans attorney Joe Responti. Joe, we've talked about, just generally speaking, these judges, these magistrates with the low bail, and these violent criminals bonding out for hundreds of dollars with, rap sheets, dozens of arrests. It's just obnoxious. That's on the regular level. This is the juvenile system, and we're seeing just that same mentality. Can you kind of explain it? Because I can't. What's the mentality of these judges with this 20, 30 strikes, you're out? Seriously.
Well, right. Well, the thing is, they're children. Well, I'm glad I got one. I got Jeff Landry, and I don't always agree with Jeff Landry, but I got him to agree with me. 17-year-olds were always deemed adults. And John Bell Edwards made it, no, 17-year-olds should be considered juveniles. But now they finally came back and made 17-year-olds adults. And my position is, when a 17-year-old puts a gun in somebody's face, they've surrendered their rights to childhood. And they should be treated as an adult.
Yeah, I don't even know why 17, 16, 15, depends on the kid, the situation, the violence involved.
There is discretion by the district attorney in the parish, and there's certain protocols that need to be followed. But it gets a little harder when you get down to 14 and all that stuff. But for somebody who's 16, the DA in this particular case, the DA would take him to the grand jury, and all he's got to do is get him indicted by a grand jury, which is not that hard to do. So it's the will of the DA in that particular parish as to who he wants to charge as an adult.
This kind of hyper liberal, loony left woke mentality. I forget the judge's name. Who's the judge? Angel? Who's one of these judges has like a name like that? Angel or something?
I don't know, and I'm not here to name.
I Google her, and it pulls up her website when she was running for the judgeship, Joe. and it's all about the criminals. Too many criminals in jail, too many people incarcerated for, crimes that aren't, major crime. We need to get people out of jail. This needs to be a minor offense. I'm like, my God, the whole platform is about the criminal, not the citizen. I don't want criminals wrongly or people wrongly put in jail and labeled as criminals that really aren't criminals or minor offenses like weed and stuff. We've already eliminated that type of stuff. But crime is crime, and the whole platform of criminal first, citizen second, there's a lot of judges like that, and I think Judge Candace Bates Anderson falls under that category. This guy had like 7 felony counts, and she just keeps letting them out?
What I'm not going to say that right here on your air that's that judge is the one that did that. And you know why? Because I can't. Because I don't know her history.
I thought that's what Fox 8 story said.
We need transparency. I think that's what Liz Morrell, the Attorney General, is trying to go for. I think that's what Jeff Landry is trying to go for. And it's long overdue. There are ways to protect the child, as it were, in his name but you can track him and track what he did. Of course. And more importantly, what the judge did, who was supposed to decide.
I don't give a crap what the kid's name is. Like you said, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't care. I just want criminal X off the street. Give a crap if he's 12 or 82, And these judges that just, we know they're children. You're a juvenile judge. That's what you ran for. That's a given. We know they're children. You're a juvenile judge. That's the most pathetic excuse in the world. It's like, of course, they're kids. That's what you do. We're visiting with New Orleans attorney Joe Responti. You can catch him every Tuesday morning on Fox 8. And sometimes you'll see him a couple of times a month in like a story like this one about the juvenile justice system, something Joe has been pounded on for years. We're coming right back. More with Joe Responti.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Kind of a wet, rainy, misty afternoon. It's been that way for the last few days, but the weekend looks good. Hopefully by Friday we get some good weather. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. New Orleans attorney Joe Responti's with us. Fox 8 report. Joe's been banging this drum for years. You want to move the needle quickly with juvenile crime? The juvenile justice system. Joe, you're talking about what? The judges, the juvenile, the state office, all of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I want to apologize to people for I'm just a little probably inappropriately zealous about this topic, but it is just an eminently fixable topic. It's not rocket science, and the people who say we want to do something about crime in New Orleans and allow this status quo to continue are being disingenuous. Because what you need to do, and here's Joey's plan: one, get some more housing so that you can keep the bad kids incarcerated, so that you don't use the excuse, we've got no place to put them. That you need to have political will to fund that. Maybe the governor and the attorney general get involved, will move that needle. Two, you need to have transparency in the court so that you have statistics without names. Like I said, you can just do numbers if you want, but you need to have statistics to know which individual defendants are the recidivists and who are not. And three, you need to know which judges are the recidivists in their own way in continuing to let violent criminals out again and again and again. If you can just knock out those three things, we're going to go a long way down the road to getting this crime problem that we've had for years maybe a little bit under control.
Give me those three things again.
I think you need to have fund housing, a jail, for lack of a better term, juvenile jail or whatever term they want to use to house these kids so that we no longer have the excuse that they don't, there's no place to put them. Number two, you have to have transparency to look at the statistics and know in globo terms and on an individual basis who is the recidivists who keep committing the same crimes over and over. And three, you need to use those same statistics to figure out which judges are continuing to let out the violent criminals to recidivize and to commit more and more crimes in the revolving door.
Now, the facility off I-610 by Bayou St. John, that's not a juvenile facility?
It is, and it's also the court is over there. Because, Corey, quite frankly, I don't practice much. I'm a former juvenile DA. My son was a former juvenile DA. That's the junior varsity. When you go to work in New Orleans DA's office, you do your time there before you move to Tulane and Broad in the trial division. But why does somebody need to hire the Responti law firm to defend them at juvenile court? I don't get calls for juvenile court. Why? Let's think it through. What do you need me for? Why do you need me? You're going to get out anyway, no matter what you do, or no matter how many times you do it. So, I'm not. I mean, we're familiar through a lot of ways, but it's the same old story.
Who's responsible?
Wherever they want to build it, they need to build another facility or use OPP, which used to house 2 or 3 times as many people are presently in there. They need to use that facility, at least a tier of it, not to mix them with the adults,
of
but
course.
They need to put the violent guys in a place instead of back on the streets.
Joe Responti's with us, New Orleans attorney. Joe, who's like, where do you point the finger? Is it mayor, city council? Is it the legislature? Is it the governor? Why does this problem exist still, and how do you fix it? Who's responsible?
You start with the judges for sure. I think the district attorney. has seemed to. I don't want to be supportive of the DA's office because I think Jason Williams is starting to move this thing in the right direction. He was, didn't want to charge anybody underage as adults, but I think he's moving away from that. But I mean, he's got to continue to put the heat on the judiciary. I think the Supreme Court has to be able to get the information and I think that may be happening, to put some heat on the 5 or 6, whatever it is, elected juvenile judges. And then you got to have the mayor to have the political will and the funding to fund a facility to put these kids in. Maybe that's legislatively. Maybe the governor's going to kick in. That's above my pay grade. But there is no money better spent than that.
Hey, Joe, AG Liz Merle, she's getting involved now. This ankle monitoring thing is a joke. I mean, all I can assume, one of 2 things, or both. It's that same woke hyper left mentality where, okay, we may be the ankle monitoring company that has the contract, but these are just kids. So we're not going to monitor them as, scrutinize the monitoring like we would some violent criminal. A, and B, maybe it's politically connected jokers that got the contract. And like a lot of politically connected jokers that get city contracts, they don't provide the service that they're contracted to provide. They either do it half what or don't do it at all. So do you have any insight on the monitoring and why it is so lame and pathetic? And your opinion on Liz Merle? I think she's getting the feds involved to look into it, which I think is a good thing.
She is a very driven person. I think I'm glad to see that she's getting involved in this. Once again, I don't agree with everything that she does all the time, but I think this is something she really needs to get involved in. In answer to your question, I don't know, because that's part of the problem. Nobody knows. That's why she doesn't know. That's why she says, I've got to investigate this. It's the whole juvenile justice system is cloaked in some iron curtain where we can't see how they do their business. I don't know why this doesn't work, but I do know it's not working. And we have nothing further to look at than the poor young lady who's lost her life in the French Quarter. This is a system that is broken. But it seems to me that, I don't know if it's financing, I don't know if it's any plan is only as good as the people who have to execute.
Yep.
And this execution is not happening.
And what's the secrecy problem? It's about keeping the juveniles' names out of it?
Correct. At its base, the theory is and it's been since I was assistant DA. We don't want the kids' names to be out in public because they're young and they're stupid, and we don't want them to be permanently tainted by their actions as juveniles when they can get their act together as adults and go on to live productive lives. That's great, like I said. But you can't. But what's happened is that secrecy, that inability for the media or any other state agency to see what they're doing has now created a system where there is no accountability.
Plus, you're lying as a person. The basically New Orleans and the state with juveniles, by not releasing the name, is saying whenever you apply for a job in the future, wink, wink, this never happened. It won't be on your record. And but it is part of their life. I mean, it's unfortunate. People that are, under the age of 18 that get arrested, if it's something that is minor and it's meaningless, it usually gets expunged over time. Right, Joe?
Yes, and Corey, I'm going to tell you, the other thinking is, I hear you 100%, but sometimes I don't want, I don't want to be judged by everything I did before I turned 18 or 17. I'll tell you that.
Well, but I think, Joe, that's the thing. I know Joe Responti. So if you told me at 17 we leaned the garbage can up against the neighbor's door full of water and rang the doorbell, I'd be like, yeah, we were kids. We were stupid. But I wouldn't be like, yeah, that's Joe Responti. He's the kind of guy that would lean a garbage can up against a door. I'd be like, did that when he was a kid. That isn't what Joe Responti's about. He's the opposite of that. I mean, I just don't understand how that isn't applied where, that's common sense.
Well, what I'm saying, my little suggested remedy is I still don't need the kid's name. I don't.
No, you've got the best solution. You got the best solution. Keep the kid's name out. Make it a number. Make the judges A, B, C, D. D has a reputation of being lenient.
I want to know the judges. I want to know the judge's name. Their name needs to come out. I just don't need to know the kid's name.
Well, A, B, C, D for judges would work. And then when the judge gets reprimanded or is demoted or ousted, then you're going to know the name.
Well, we need to know because we need to elect them.
Yeah, you're right.
We have to vote for them.
You're right. The kids can be a number. The judges' names need to be known. Yeah, the secrecy is ridiculous. Any final thoughts? We missing anything?
Well, no, I appreciate the airing of this. I mean, I don't know why it's become, my cause celeb. I mean, it's not really. It's just
no. You've just been pounding this for a few years, and now people are jumping on board finally.
And I'm glad to see it. It's low hanging fruit. I think this is eminently doable. Let's see what Jeff Landry and Liz Merle and the Supreme Court and the judges of the juvenile court are going to do, because it's something it's staring us square in the face.
Yeah, and when there are 4,000 outstanding juvenile warrants, sure, some of them are traffic violations and minor things, but out of the 4,000, there's got to be hundreds and hundreds, if not north of 1,000, that are violent, juvenile warrants for crime. So you don't want that kid on the street, or at the very least, you want, repercussions. Joe, always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, Corey. Thank you.
That's Joe Responti. Corey Johnson with you.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint in Primer and One offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Oh, boy, this is just fuel for the fire for Jeff Landry. Just what the doctor ordered politically. I'm not saying Jeff Landry hoped for this or wished for this, but the fact that it happened, he's going to pounce on this and utilize this. I'm not saying he's happy or wished for it or any of that. I'm saying he's going to take advantage of the fact that it did happen. Talking about the Christy Thibodeau murder in the French Quarter. This beloved tour guide. But Jeff Landry's pouncing on it because apparently an illegal alien, illegal immigrant, this Honduran citizen that illegally entered the United States and New Orleans committed the murder. So now it's, if our borders were secure, Christy Thibodeau would be alive. If Christy Thibodeau would have eaten eggs instead of bacon, which took 15 seconds quicker to cook, she would have been out the door 15 seconds earlier, and the whole drop a stone in the water, you feel the ripple effect of, a million miles away would have happened. Don't know what would happen. If she would have used, shampooed her hair twice in the shower instead of just once that morning, spent another 10 seconds brushing the teeth, or she spent 10 seconds too long brushing the teeth. We can go over all this all day, every day. It's like the traffic cameras in New Orleans being hyper effective and the booting and all that. No one comes to New Orleans to go, man, you get in a car in New Orleans, you can die in traffic. You can die in traffic. There's so many wrecks and accidents. The driving's the major problem. No one, not a soul says that. They worry about violent crime, though. It's just like priorities are screwed up. A murder is a murder, and it's a terrible thing. But we don't have an illegal alien or illegal immigration problem in Louisiana or New Orleans at all. Kind of the exact opposite. Like post-Katrina, Ida, whatever the storm, Lake Charles, New Orleans, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, wherever, flooding in Baton Rouge. It's these undocumented workers that bail us out and save our ass. And there's no question about it. There's no way around it. The speed and efficiency can't be beat. I mean, anyone who was in New Orleans post-Katrina saw that. I know that's a long time ago, but just a fact. Black, white, Latino living here, Asian living here. They weren't going to move as fast. They weren't going to get in the grind 24/7, 365 rebuilding like that. Did some people pull themselves up by their own bootstraps exclusively? You bet. A very rare few, and not enough where the momentum would rebuild the city. But these immigrants came in and helped rebuild our city really quickly, living in crazy conditions. I remember the old, what was the body shop? It's now part of the South Market District. It was right there, like I was on Rampart, one street behind. What is that, like LaSalle? They lived in this body shop. And it was 20 or 30 immigrants living there that probably used a sink to shower and stuff like that. Slept on the floor and just everyday grind. They were there to work, not to socialize, not to have fun. Work until the job is done. So this illegal alien thing, this illegal immigration thing, it is a hot political topic. For years and decades, it was a fake political topic. Lately, there obviously is a major crisis at the border. And right now, it's back down to a trickle again. It's back down to a trickle again at the border. But Jeff Landry publicly all over this Christy Thibodeau murder in the quarter. This guy should have never been in Louisiana. If we had our borders secure, Christy Thibodeau would be alive today. We must close our borders and keep our communities safe. Is there anyone out there, seriously, like the traffic cameras? Boy, driving in New Orleans, I could get killed today. Is there anyone out there that goes, going out in New Orleans, I'm worried about an illegal alien committing a crime on me? Anywhere in Metro New Orleans, the state of Louisiana, are you worried about an illegal committing a crime? I mean, if you Google the information and get a consensus, like multiple sources, not left-leaning, not right-leaning with an agenda, just the facts. Illegal aliens, undocumented workers commit less crime than average Americans. Percentage-wise of illegal immigrants committing crime is less in every category, minor offenses, violent crime, than the rest of American citizens. No, they're hyper-vigilant. They're here to work. They're trying to avoid the police. Do things happen? Yeah, you get violent criminals that come into America. And you get a lot of local criminals. But I don't know, Christy Thibodeau's dead. Killed by an illegal, killed by someone local, black, white, killed by a woman, killed by grandma, killed by a child. She's dead. It's a tragedy. She was beloved, this tour guide. Be an illegal alien that did it, this Honduran citizen that came to the United States illegally. Jeff Landry's all over it. Should have never been here. We need to secure our borders, keep our communities safe. Has nothing to do with Louisiana. Has Jeff Landry, seriously, since he's running for governor, being elected governor, now governor for like 5 months, has he mentioned our disappearing coastline once? Have you heard him one time mentioning our problem, our real problem, Louisiana's legitimate problem? It ain't illegal immigrants at all. Not in the least bit. Not in the least bit. It's our vanishing coastline. Jeff Landry should be pounding the table on that. Jeff Landry should be telling Texas, hey, I got, National Guard troops in Texas at the border. We could use yours on Grand Isle, shoring up our coast.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM.
5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Yeah, you right. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program where you're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to discuss. That's what we do on Wide Open Wednesday. Wow, Joe Responti was good in the 4 o'clock hour. That Fox 8 report about the juvenile justice system. According to Ann Kirkpatrick, NOPD superintendent, 4,000 outstanding juvenile warrants. 4,000 plus. Ouch. No, these hyper-liberal woke judges with crazy, misdirected empathy, sympathy, I don't know what it is, like 20, 30, 40 strikes you're out. You know how children are, huh? I don't have a kid, but if I did have a son and I busted him like in the liquor cabinet with his friends, and he was like, Dad, I swear it was the first time. I'd be like, son, I want to believe you, and you seem sincere. I'm going to believe you. But I can't treat it like it's the first time. I've got to assume you're BSing me, and it's happened multiple times. So I have to punish you accordingly. Can't. Okay, son, you're right. First time, no problem. Go play with your toys. Not a problem. I'm going to mix a drink. You know, kid's going to be back in the liquor cabinet pretty soon because there were no repercussions, no consequences. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. Hey, it's pretty simple if you need air conditioning help. We're in the middle of July. It's hot, and we're going to be hot until like mid-October. Seriously. For like a good 80, 90 more days. Seriously. A good 80 or 90 more days of 90 degrees and feels like over 100 some of those days. Your air conditioning needs to be working. If you're having any problems at all with your AC, or worse, it's not working at all, River City's Total Maintenance is there. Fair and honest Lucas and the boys, air conditioning experts that come immediately. Find them online at NOLAAC.com. That's NOLAAC.com. You need air conditioning help? NOLAAC.com. Wednesday afternoon edition of the program. Jeff Landry is jumping all over this. I don't think he's happy about it. I don't think he wished for it. I don't think he wanted it to happen. But I think the fact that it did happen, it opens up the door for his political agenda for him to pounce on it. And it's the Christy Thibodeau murder. The beloved tour guide in the French Quarter that was murdered in her car. Apparently, the murderer is an Honduran citizen who illegally entered the United States and New Orleans. And Jeff Landry's saying, should have never been in Louisiana. And he says, enough's enough. Enough's enough. Like, That means this problem continues to happen over and over and over again. Like violent crime in New Orleans, enough's enough. We get that, Governor. That's happened a lot. It's a continuous pattern for years, maybe a decade. Enough's enough. That's applicable. Illegal aliens murdering Louisiana citizens, New Orleans citizens, like it's a common occurrence. Enough's enough. Not applicable here. Name me another illegal that killed a New Orleans or Louisiana citizen. I think that woman in rural Louisiana was murdered maybe 8 years ago by an illegal. Should have never been in Louisiana. You're right. We must close our borders and keep our communities safe. Is there anyone in New Orleans, in Louisiana, that ever fears for their safety, thinking an illegal may commit some kind of crime against them? Ever? Has that thought ever even crossed your mind? Now, if you live in California, Arizona, New Mexico, or Texas, maybe it crosses your mind, but it probably doesn't cross your mind there either, because statistically, U.S. citizens commit more crimes, from basic misdemeanors to violent crime, than illegals do. Illegals are here to work. That's what they do. They just grind and work. They do the stuff we don't want to do, like menial labor, manual labor, farming, milk, dairy industry, seafood processing, meat packing plant. Not the fun stuff. And they grind every day. They're not living great life. They're the bottom of the food chain, and they're trying to have their kids get an education and have a better life and go to college and become American citizens, U.S. citizens, and not work at the meat packing plant or have to work at the farm. Post-Katrina, illegal aliens, undocumented workers saved our ass. 90% of the rebuild was illegal aliens, undocumented workers, and we welcomed them because they did what no one else wanted to do. They did it quickly. They did it fast. I lived in the middle of the CBD on a block. There was this car, like a shed that was like a car repair shop. It got flooded out like everything. There were probably 50 Latinos living in that shed during post-Katrina for like 6 or 8 months, helping to rebuild the city, probably showering in a sink, sharing one toilet, sleeping on the floor, working every day. They weren't here to go to bars, Pat O'Brien's, party, hit the high-end restaurants, get a po' boy. They're just grinding every day, working, going to sleep, working, going to sleep, working, going to sleep, till the job was done. So Louisiana doesn't have, has never had, hopefully never will have, some kind of illegal alien problem where we just get, inundated, but like Denver, Colorado, Texas busing all the illegals there. It's like 50,000 illegals now in Denver that were bussed from Texas. I wouldn't want to be Texas, because like that, the reciprocation's going to be the B word, and that will come down one day. Some state like Colorado is going to be like, just send that stuff to Texas. We can. They're going to accept it, and then it's their problem. Anyway, we've never had an illegal alien, illegal immigration problem. Christy Thibodeau, it's sad that she was murdered. Could have been anyone that murdered her. Just happened to be an illegal. And to say if we had the border secure, she'd be alive today is ridiculous. Is ridiculous. No, Jeff Landry is pouncing on this because it fits his political narrative. Period. End of story. All about the border. You want to know what is pathetically sad? Pathetically sad. And it's just a fact. Running for office as governor, last 5 months as governor, he's never mentioned our border. We have Louisiana National Guard troops on the Texas-Mexican border. Louisiana National Guard troops on the Texas-Mexican border. And Jeff Landry's never mentioned our border, our eroding coastline, our disappearing coast. Is Greg Abbott going to send Texas National Guard troops down to Grand Isle with bulldozers moving boulders and building sand, moving, through pipelines, dredging and pumping sediment material and putting it in other areas. They're going to help us rebuild our coast. Now, this is a political joke, and it's sad. And sadly, it's at the expense of Christy Thibodeau's life. I shouldn't say the expense of, but using her death, her murder, her tragic murder for political gain when we don't have an illegal alien problem. Enough's enough. Enough's enough maybe in California, New Mexico, or Arizona, or Texas. Enough's enough with the coastline disappearing in Louisiana. That's what you should be saying, enough's enough. Football field every 30, 40 minutes. That still continues. That hasn't stopped. That's our problem, not illegals. No, that's where Jeff Landry just is so wrong. But, folks that are pro Jeff Landry, they're going to overlook this. But if it were the flip side, some Democrat doing it, you'd be freaking out. It is a non-political story. We don't have a violent crime problem with illegal aliens in Louisiana or New Orleans. We don't have an illegal alien problem in Louisiana or New Orleans, much less violent crime, which, like I said, they statistically work. They don't commit crimes. U.S. citizens commit more crime. Hey, Lebanon's Cafe is rolling till 9:30 tonight. Looking for something great for dinner? Priced right, large portions, authentic. Who doesn't love shish kebab, like shrimp, beef, chicken, lamb shish kebab, Middle Eastern sides? Lebanon's Cafe till 9:30. Corey Johnson with you. A wide open Wednesday edition of the program.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you. Life has enough curveballs and twists, automatically. Like you're going to get a lump of what thrown at you sometime. Could be a flat tire, whatever. Something beyond your control. So life's difficult. Like, it isn't difficult, but life has automatic problems. Why create them? Why create them? Being a Louisiana person, and it doesn't matter what you are politically, that's fine. But to be an adult and connect yourself to like fantasy land, like make-believe, like what you want to believe, what you hope is true, even negative things. Like Louisiana does have an illegal alien problem. That's a good thing to get pissed off about. Politicians are smart. They get you mad at something or someone first. Then all your problems, they blame them on them. So it's like a double whammy. So these illegal aliens, they're criminals and they're stealing your jobs, all of that. And none of it's true. None of it's true. Commit less crime than regular U.S. citizens. You have to think about the mentality of why they're here. They're not here to like, hey, let's take advantage of the system. They're here because it's the land of opportunity and they can go work. And where they're coming from, they're like, meatpacking plant? Fantastic. It's air conditioned, Farming, I get to work with my family. They'll hire everyone in the family. I'm working with my brothers and sisters. Fantastic. They're going to let me live in the shed on the farm? Fantastic. Where they're coming from, they take on all these jobs that no one in America, black, white, Asian, Latino, regular U.S. citizens want to mess with. And they're coming here to work just like Katrina. Came here to work. They didn't, hey, we're going to go commit crime. We're here to party. We're going to do some drifting. They're here to work. That's it. That's all they did. And when they were done, they were gone. They left because there wasn't any more work available. So the immigrants that come to America, they are here to work. That's why their crime rate is so low compared to U.S. citizens. We're spoiled or we have it easier or whatever and want the easy way out. I don't know what it is. But these immigrants are like, happy and glad to be in America, and they don't want to mess with the police. They want to, stay above board, and they do statistically. Is there a border crisis? Yes. Not right now. The border's locked down. There's like a trickle coming across right now. A trickle since Biden enacted or initiated his border plan. It's a trickle. But it was bad. It was a crisis. Most of the time, it just goes up and down. It's not always a crisis. It's how the economy in America is going, how the economy south of America is going. I say south of America, south of the United States. Louisiana has never had any kind of illegal alien or illegal immigration problem ever. The opposite. They've only helped us. The problem we have is a coastline that's disappearing. And Jeff Landry never, ever mentions it. It's like taboo. It's unbelievable. Like science and things like that, Jeff Landry doesn't like. Fantasyland stuff, like we got an illegal immigration problem in Louisiana and Christy Thibodeau would be alive today if this illegal alien didn't murder her. It's mind-blowing. Focusing on that, putting all this effort on that, while our coastline continues to disappear by a football field every 40 minutes. Jeff Landry's never, ever mentioned the coastline. Actually, the opposite. His guy who's running, I don't even know the agency, Natural Resources. We inherited the Mid-Barataria Diversion Project. It's a mess. That was his quote. It's a mess. No, it's not. It's not a mess. It's not a mess. It's unbelievable. No, thank God we're $600 million into the $3 billion project, like literally. Like $600 million into it. We can't walk from it now. Thank God. Because otherwise, Jeff Landry and his crew would have pulled the plug on it. It's a mess. No, it's not a mess. Is there some controversy? Are there some Plaquemine folks? Are there a small number of fishermen concerned? You bet. But the needs of the few, in this case, don't outweigh the needs of the many. Thank God 600 million's into it already, because the needs of the few would have outweighed the needs of the many, and Landry would have pulled the plug on that. The coast is disappearing, is meaningless to this governor. It's mind-blowing. It's almost like he doesn't believe it or something. It definitely doesn't have sizzle or pizzazz, that's for sure. Illegal aliens get, his base. A lot of you watching and listening right now disagree with what I'm saying. You're pissed off about illegals. They took your job. They take other people's job. They don't pay taxes. We carry them on and on and on. Just all these low percentage make-believe things, like the illegal killing Christy Thibodeau, and Louisiana has a criminal problem with illegals. Enough's enough, said the governor. Enough's enough means this repeats itself all the time, and it's a problem that's reoccurring. Enough's enough would apply to our coast, not the arbitrary, illegal alien or undocumented worker that happens to be in Louisiana and commits a violent crime. It is insanely rare. No one's worrying about that in the least bit anywhere. No one. No, I mentioned the traffic cameras in New Orleans. We're hyper vigilant with that. Booting, towing cars, traffic camera tickets. We're as good as it gets. Proficient, efficient, effective. No one comes to New Orleans or Louisiana and goes, man, you get in a wreck, you could die. In New Orleans, the traffic's a problem as far as people running people over. Every day, people jump a curb and run over people at bus stops and kill them. Driving in a car is life-threatening. It's dangerous. New Orleans has a traffic problem where people are getting killed. There's none of that. Yet we're so great at the traffic cameras and booting, like it is some kind of concern. No, it's a money grab. It's taxing law-abiding citizens, essentially, doing 39 and a 35. It's pathetic. It's fantasy land. We're focusing in on the wrong thing. It's not real. This illegal alien thing is the same thing. It's a farce. It's the same thing. We don't have a problem in Louisiana. The opposite. We only benefit from these migrant workers. You know what's so ironical about all of this? Jeff Landry and his brother basically have a staffing agency, this side business that they should not have at all. But it's Louisiana, like New Orleans, political nonsense. It's for the LNG industry in Lake Charles. Employees building these plants, working at these plants, getting these plants operational. So these plants, the people that are building them, go to Jeff Landry and say, I need 300 workers. Jeff Landry, with his American flag wrapped around him, doesn't hire Louisiana workers. Jeff Landry and his greedy brother, who shouldn't have the gig in the first place, they could hire Louisiana workers and they'd make a ton of money that they don't deserve, that they got because of their political connections strictly. And if they had ethics, integrity, and morals, they wouldn't have taken the gig. They'd just be focusing on the political job they ran for. But it's about enriching themselves. So they don't hire Louisiana workers. They import Mexican workers, not illegals, but import Mexicans to work at the plant because they can work them longer. They don't have to give them the benefits as much. They make bigger profits. So that's Jeff Landry, and that's a fact. That's real. You can Google it. You can go to NOLA.com, any media outlet. There's a consensus on it. No one's denying it. Jeff Landry hasn't denied it. It's a fact. He and his brother have a staffing agency, which they should not have. Wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't you like a staffing agency where somebody calls you and goes, I need these workers. You got the workers there. You call them up. They go in and you get a percentage. You get a piece of the pie for doing basically nothing. But Jeff Landry didn't even hire Louisiana workers. He imported workers from Mexico so he and his brother could make more profits. Greedy, not American, un-American, anti-capitalism, anti-Louisiana, blue-collar worker, oil and gas worker, welder, the blue-collar worker, anti that. We're going to bring in these Mexican workers. It's unbelievable. That's all real. I mean, I don't judge folks on if they're liberal or conservative or Republican or Democrat or black or white or gay or straight. I don't give a crap. I strictly judge folks on results. And it's 2024. Most folks, when money's involved, it's all results driven. But Louisiana and New Orleans, money's involved, taxpayer money. And we keep electing these jokers over and over again, and they keep doing the same old goofy crap. And we don't care. We're so enthralled by black or white or Republican or Democrat, we overlook all these obvious things. I mean, you would think a hyper-right conservative, proud to be an American, where I know I'm free, Lee Greenwood, all of that, wrapping the flag around themselves, patriots, proud of the military. You'd think they'd be like, wow, Jeff Landry's got a staffing agency? What's that about? Supposed to be focusing in on being the attorney general, now the governor, exclusively. He and his brother, with the brother's an insurance agent, yet they have this staffing agency on the side. What the hell? So yeah, low integrity, low ethics, low morals should be illegal. But it's Louisiana. We let the politicians enrich themselves. Go ask John Alario. No, and then it's just beyond egregious. It's don't even hire the Louisiana workers, man. It's obnoxious. Should be offended by that with Jeff Landry. That's inexcusable. And that's how he thinks. It's about him and money first. It's not about conservative values or any of that, because he would have hired Louisiana workers. And if he was really had conservative values or liberal values, there'd be some integrity and ethics involved in that, right? Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. Hey, New Orleans attorney Joe Responti joined us in the 4 o'clock hour. This Fox 8 report, you can check it out on my Twitter at Corey Johnson. It's insane. The broken juvenile justice system in New Orleans. This is Ann Kirkpatrick, the NOPD chief, the superintendent. 4,000 outstanding warrants. Here's the kicker. It's 4,000 outstanding juvenile warrants. 17 years old and younger in Orleans Parish, 4,000 plus individuals. That is absolute insanity. Now, I'm sure a bunch are like, didn't show up for court for a speeding ticket or something like that. Other minor offenses. Not showing up for court for some minor offense. But of the 4,000, a few hundred at least have to be violent criminals, like worrisome warrants, folks that you don't want walking the streets where repercussions are necessary. 4,000 outstanding juvenile warrants. Joe Responti's been beating this drum for years about the juvenile judges, the state office of juvenile justice, the local system. No, he says you got to fund a juvenile jail. You have to have transparency with the repeat offenders. If not the name, because it's a juvenile and you don't want their future life ruined with some juvenile arrest, then it has to be a number. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. He's repeated the crime 20 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 ain't getting out. And then the judges need to be known. Like this Judge Candace Bates Anderson that Fox 8 mentioned. This hyper-liberal woke mentality where it's criminal first, citizen second is crazy. Look, I'm not some insane person, extremist. I have empathy. I don't think we need to be incarcerating, number one incarceration rate in the world sometimes here in Louisiana. Crime problem doesn't equate to that. I'm not saying we don't have a crime problem. But incarcerating more people per capita than anywhere in the world, and then the for-profit prison system where you have a few dozen rural sheriffs that are millionaires, Johnny Redneck driving around the truck, barely has a high school education GED. He's like a sheriff in some rural Louisiana community that doesn't have a shelter for animals. Not even thinking about that, but their prison's packed. And it's for profit. So that sheriff's driving around in a nice rig, lives in a nice house, has a nice lifestyle. That's Louisiana. That's how we operate. Look no further than, you remember who was the sheriff down in St. Bernard for years? Boy, I'm going blank. It's been years. I was about to say Jack Strain. That's the St. Tammany crazy sheriff. Let me see who that was. Anyway, that guy, his camp like down in Shell Beach is like $1.5 million. Was on the Miro board in St. Bernard Parish. Former St. Bernard Parish sheriff. Breton Sound Marine. Marina. See, isn't that funny? I can literally put in former St. Bernard sheriff, Breton Sound Marina, and then I can put in, let's see, St. Bernard Parish Sheriff, Breton Sound Marina. Sorry for the delay. Sound Marina. And Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop. I guarantee it's going to pull up his name. Let's see. Jack Stevens. St. Bernard Parish Sheriff Jack Stevens retires. Jack Stevens. He was on the Miro board. Joe Miro's rolling around in his grave. Left St. Bernard Parish $250 million. You know what Jack Stevens and that Miro board did? They let the LeBeau plantation burn to the ground. That's what they did. A historic plantation they should have been preserving, should have been protecting. Chain link fence, motion detectors, alarm system. Easy, cheap. They got $250 million. No, that's Jack Stevens. Jack Stevens, because he was on the Miro board, instead of doing it civic-minded, he did it for profit. Hey, I'll rent Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop. I'll rent Breton Sound Marine. Things that Joe Miro owned, his estate still owns. So Jack Stevens pays the Miro estate, I'm not making this up, like $2,000 a month for Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop and like $2,000 a month for Breton Sound Marina. And then he subleases the marina for like 30 grand a month. So he's making like 28 grand a month on that, 28,000. And then he's subbing out Lafitte's blacksmith shop for like 20 grand a month. He's making like 18 there every month. Instead of he should be putting those leases out there, and then all the money goes into the Miro estate. Instead, he's subleasing the stuff, giving Miro like 10% on the dollar, and he's keeping all the other money. That's how he's got $1 million+ camp down in Shell Beach. It ain't because he earned it as St. Bernard Parish Sheriff. He earned it by manipulating the system. Oh, and then the BP oil disaster hits while he's renting Breton Sound Marina. The guy renting it, he's out. Sorry, you're not going to reap the benefits as the person having the lease. I'm ending the lease, and I'm going to rent to Shell for $1 million a month. $1 million a month, reportedly, is what Jack Stevens received for renting out Breton Sound Marina during the BP oil disaster. And I'm sure he gave a nice kickback to the Miro Foundation. Of that $1 million a month, he probably gave him 20 grand and felt really good about it. No, Jack Stevens, all these folks that are rich, living high on the hog, that have affluent friends that go through life thinking like, boy, I'm a good person. I've got ethics, morals, and integrity. And their friends think it. Go hunting and fishing with them, hang out with them. It's nauseating. That mentality, the Edwin Edwards, Bill Jefferson, Mark Morial, John Alario, Heitmeyer brothers, spilling over to the lightweights like C. Ray Nagin, LaToya Cantrell, Nagin 2.0, the Aaron Broussards, all these people, just a nightmare in Louisiana. And we embrace these jokers. Half of you out there watching and listening were like, man, I'd like to see Edwin Edwards. Wish he was around. The state wouldn't be in the problem it's in. Man, if Mark Morial was mayor of the city wouldn't be in the problem we're in right now. Delusional. Boy, I wish Bill Jefferson was a congressman. Delusional. Seriously, like broken. Crazy. Well, one good thing. Like I told the OIG, Ed Michel, and I know I've mentioned it to Raphael Goyeneche. Hey, the silver lining of all this crap keeps us employed. I do talk radio and television. Always have topics. Always. Hey, always hiring. Like literally always hiring. They're on like a 40-year growth spurt that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just, it keeps expanding larger and larger, not funneling down. I'm talking about Latrim. Inventors of the shrimp peeling machine that is the industry standard worldwide. That bad boy was invented in New Orleans. That led to the all-plastic modular conveyor belt, Intralocks, industry standard around the world. You go to like a Budweiser plant or Heineken in Holland or Ford or Mercedes-Benz or Toyota in Japan. It's an Intralocks belt that those cars, that those cans, those bottles are running on at the factory where they're building the stuff. The Lapierre stair, the alternating tread stair, just friggin' genius, man. No, Latrim is a worldwide manufacturing leader, a culture of innovation, like maybe 1,000 worldwide patents from Latrim. This privately owned, New Orleans-owned company since like 1950, 1949, when J.M. Lapierre invented the shrimp peeling machine. They are hiring. And if you go to their website, it's the same old story in a good way. Not like 2 or 3 job openings, dozens and dozens and dozens of job openings. Right now, a job for you, a career for you at Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's Latram.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and...
Wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing. Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. The phone number 766-9480 if you'd like to participate. 766-9480. Every day, this program is brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. home of the big store Lamarck Ford, the number one Lincoln dealership in Louisiana, and now Crescent City Ford, the legendary truck dealership, part of the Lamarck Automotive Complex over there on Jefferson Highway. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now Crescent City Ford, Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood. Wide open Wednesday, 4 o'clock hour. Joe Responti joined us. Check out my Twitter at Corey Talks, the Fox 8 story. Juvenile justice system. This is Ann Kirkpatrick, the NOPD superintendent. 4,000 outstanding juvenile warrants in Orleans Parish. 4,000 juveniles in Orleans Parish, 17 or under, have a warrant out for their arrest. Now, I'm sure the majority are traffic violations, some minor offense, a bar fight or something, and didn't show up for court or something, didn't fulfill an obligation. I'm not saying give them a pass, but it's more minor. But what concerns me, when you have 4,000 outstanding juvenile warrants, there's got to be a few hundred of the 4,000. If it's 10%, it's 400. If it's 5%, it's 200 juveniles that are violent criminals, that the warrants are for felony offenses, dangerous folks that you want maybe behind bars or at least to experience repercussions for their actions. It's got to be some percentage of the 4,000, right? No, Joe Responti says the juvenile judges, the juvenile office of the state office of juvenile justice, just, he didn't say hyper woke, hyper liberal. I did. Just like more of a concern for the criminal than the citizen. Hey, not one strike, you're out, 2 strikes, you're out. Let's add in a 0 behind that. 10, 20, 30 strikes until you're out, maybe 30. You got 29 strikes, we're going to put you back out there. That Fox 8 report mentions Judge Candace Bates Anderson. No, these judges have this broken mentality where it's beyond empathy. It's, they're children and we must do. No, you got to look at what the crime was and apply everything. I understand they're juveniles. They're not adults. That's a fact. You're a juvenile judge. But you got to look at the facts, and every instance is different. And this just revolving door thing of like, give them another chance. Don't want that on their record. Let's worry about the kid, even though it's a violent kid that's committed multiple violent crimes, and there's nothing that appears to be stopping them in the future. Yeah, the mentality of these judges is broken, and they're elected. So maybe we got to do a better job. Hey, best quality, best price, best selection. I'm talking about your Rouse's Market in your neighborhood. There are over 20 Rouse's Markets in Metro New Orleans. Over 60. That means about a third of all Rouse's are in the metro area. That means you're heading home from work. There's a Rouse's on the way. Tastes like home, Rouse's Market. Jeff Landry jumping on this. Look, Jeff Landry didn't want this to happen. Jeff Landry didn't hope it happened. But the fact that it did, that Christy Thibodeau, the beloved French Quarter tour guide, was murdered apparently by an illegal alien, Jeff Landry's all over it. We must close our borders and keep our communities safe. Should have never been in Louisiana. Enough's enough. Like, this is a repeated problem. Illegal aliens, violent crime in Louisiana or New Orleans. Has it happened in the past? Sure. Does it happen often all the time? Not at all. And it's a fact, not my opinion. Illegal aliens, undocumented workers commit far less crime percentage-wise than regular U.S. citizens percentage-wise. Just a fact. I don't make it up. Go do some research. Get a consensus on that. Here's a consensus we could all agree on. Leidenheimer French bread. Everybody loves Leidenheimer French bread. You get that Leidenheimer French bread, you put it in the oven for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, piping hot, that crisp outside, the soft center, get some room temperature butter, olive oil with cracked pepper, a little salt, and dip that Leidenheimer French bread in that. Wow, so good. Almost like a meal all by itself. Honestly, I could take that mini loaf of Leidenheimer and butter it up and like eat that and be like, I'm done. So good. I love that Leidenheimer French bread. Who doesn't? Part of the fabric of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right, Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Wide open Wednesday, middle of the week. Closing in on 6 o'clock. Good time to get to Katie's in Mid-City. Big portions, New Orleans specialties, old school. You know the menu. Seafood, po' boys, even pizza, great pizza oven. And when you use high quality, fresh ingredients, you're going to get a great pizza, especially when you got that dough that Scott Craig's throwing out there. Katie's, as New Orleans as it gets over there in Mid-City. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us. You know, we're on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. That means in a couple of minutes, you can check out the 4 o'clock hour if you missed it. And Joe Responti, what a great piece they had on Fox 8 Joe was part of that. They interviewed him, the juvenile justice system. And Kirkpatrick, the NOPD superintendent, says there are 4,000 plus outstanding juvenile warrants. Now, the majority of them probably are for missing traffic court, that type of stuff. But a few hundred of them have to be violent criminals, felonies. Got to be 5%. You want to be conservative? 5%. That's 200. Unbelievable. Joe Responsi says the juvenile justice system, the judges, the state office of juvenile justice, all broken. Fund a juvenile jail, have transparency with the offenders. You don't have to have a name, but at least a number so you know the repeat offenders. And then the judges need to be known by name. That can't be secretive, especially when they're getting elected. What's that, Blue Boy? Especially when they're getting elected. You're right, buddy. That's obvious. What else? Thank Joe Responti for joining us. Thank the Corporal for running the controls. And thank you for watching and listening. Thursday edition of the program, mañana, 4 o'clock. Be there.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.